Hello, I'm Simon Whistler, you're watching the Today I Found Out YouTube channel, and in the video today, if you've ever wondered who invented tequila and what's the deal with the worms, well, wonder no more. And just before we get started, I will say that this video is brought to you by Shaker & Spoon. Go to shakerandspoon.com/brainfood to get $20 off your first purchase. Although tequila dates back only a few hundred years, people have long used the heart of the agave plant to make delicious alcoholic beverages. Cultivated from at least as early as 200 AD by the Zapotecs of the Oaxaca Valley of southern Mexico, the Maguey, also called agave in the century plant, has been an essential plant in the region for well over 1,000 years, providing the raw material for building homes and able to be converted into clothing and even rope. The numerous species of maguey were an invaluable source of fiber for those living in the arid, rocky highlands. In addition, since agave stores juice in its heart, for well over 1,000 years people have used it as a food and liquid source, as well as transformed it into an alcoholic beverage. Yes, contrary to popular belief, Native Americans had many alcoholic drinks long before the Europeans arrived. In this case, liquid from the maguey's heart, sometimes called agua miel, honey water, was traditionally collected from the head and fermented without heating, but simply through the introduction of natural yeasts. This resulted in a drink called pulque, with an alcoholic content of between 4 and 8%. It's still made today, and depending on the mixture, it can be sweet and fruity or a bit sour. Reputed to have been discovered by the goddess Mayahuel, pulque is also associated with another 400 rabbit deities. This large number of gods is thought to represent the infinite number of forms intoxication takes. When the Aztecs were conquered in the 16th century, the Spaniards also brought and shared the process of distillation, by which the fermented pulque was heated and the vapors captured, cooled, reconstituted, and collected, resulting in a stronger and purer alcoholic beverage known as mezcal. The name is said to derive from a Nahuatl term, metal or mezcametal, and unlike tequila, which can only be made from the blue agave plant, mezcal can use 11 different types of maguey found in Oaxaca. At first, mezcal was called a variety of names, including agave wine and mezcal brandy, before the simpler name of mezcal was settled upon. Now, this all brings us to tequila, which is protected due to Mexico's participation in the World Trade Organization, the Paris Convention for the Protection of Industrial Properties, the North American Free Trade Agreement, and other international treaties. This means the word tequila may only be applied to a particular type of mezcal made in a particular place. Under the control of the Tequila Regulatory Council, CRT, only the spirit made in the Jalisco state in west central Mexico, and only that distilled from the juice of the agave tequila Weber plant, blue agave, may officially be labeled tequila. The origin of the word, well, that's lost in time, but many believe it came from a Nahuatl term or phrase that alternately meant the place where they cut, the place of work, the place of wild herbs, and the place of tricks. Tequila is also the name of a town in the state of Jalisco that was officially established in 1666. Although there is some debate, most sources point to Don Pedro Sanchez de Tagle, the Marquis of Altamira, as the first person to mass-produce tequila, beginning in about 1600. However, it was not until 1795 that Don Jose Maria Guadalupe de Cuervo was the first to receive a license to make it from King Ferdinand IV of Spain. Don Zenobio Souza was the first to export tequila to the United States in 1873 when he shipped 3 barrels of it to El Paso, Texas. This was soon followed by a shipment from Don Cuervo as well. Tequila became much more popular in the US during World War II when importing whiskey from Europe became very difficult. In fact, the 6,000 gallons of tequila imported in 1940 had grown to 1.2 million gallons by 1945. Today, many credit Jimmy Buffett and his song Margaritaville with ensuring tequila's place in the pantheon of America's most beloved spirits. Alright, so now let's have a quick chat about the worm. Well, contrary to popular belief, tequila should not have this in it. Officially, only mezcal is supposed to have the so-called worm, which itself is actually a caterpillar of the Comedia redtenbacheri moth, which feeds on many varieties of the maguey plant. Its origin in mezcal is not clear, and some say that the tradition dates back to Aztec times when the priests would add the caterpillar to batches of pulque. Others believe the practice started later simply as a means to test the strength of distilled mezcal, watching to see how quickly the caterpillar died once placed in the bottle. However, given the lack of documented evidence of this practice until relatively modern times, it's It's also hypothesized that it was originally just a mid-20th century marketing stunt, rumored to have been thought up by Mexico City entrepreneur Jacobo Lorenzes Pais to help the sale of mezcal over its cousin tequila in the United States. The idea here was that the so-called worms were already frequently found in the brew to make mezcal anyway, so why not intentionally put them in the end product as a sort of talking point and a way to differentiate the drink. Connoisseurs also claim the caterpillar in the drink positively affects the taste. On that note, consumers who prize the worm often believe its color to be an indicator of quality. The red worm, which lives in the heart and root of the agave plant, is said to denote a higher quality mezcal when compared to the white or gold worm, which is stuck living out on the maguey's leaves. So I really hope you enjoyed the video. I'd now like to take a brief moment to tell you about Shaker & Spoon. So basically, when Shaker & Spoon, which is a monthly cocktail subscription service where they send a cocktail kit direct to your door every month so you can make up your own cocktails, when they said they'd like to sponsor this show, I thought that was amazing because I'm one of these people, like, I buy spirits and then I put them on the shelf and then I always end up drinking them neat or with ice or with, you know, something super simple. And I never make them because you always need like one drop of something and you have to buy a whole bottle, or you need like some weird fruit. But listen, I realize that being in the studio recording this is probably not the best place to show you how to make a cocktail because, well, it's the middle of a work day and I'm not Don Draper, so let's jump to something I did earlier. Alright, so let's have a look what's in this box. Chili peppers, ginger beer, Mexican spice syrup, simple syrup. Ooh, here's something I'll even be able to use again. Nice. Habanero shrub, agave nectar, mole bitters. More spices. I guess I'm gonna have some spicy cocktails. Due to my location in Prague in the Czech Republic, I have not been shipped a couple of things. The limes, cucumber, or a lemon. But if you were in the US, those would all be in the box, you'd all be ready to go. So just imagine. And of course there is one other very important ingredient that I do need to have in order to make that cocktail. This is tequila blanco. Shaker & Spoon did make some recommendations about what tequilas I should buy. I just went to my local supermarket and they didn't have the ones they recommended because they seemed very special. Shaker & Spoon, I apologize if this isn't high enough quality. This, the one I'm making, it's called an Old Oaxaca. Anyone Mexican in the audience can tell me if I'm pronouncing that right? Oaxaca? Oaxaca. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Step numero uno, add all of the liquid ingredients to a dry... Alright, my liquid ingredients. Boom. Wow. Oh, that is nice. That is nice and strong. I'm excited to make these others, but for now, I'm just gonna enjoy my drink. So I really hope you enjoyed those shots of me at home in the evening, mixing up some cocktails. Now, each box that arrives every month has its own original recipes from world-class bartenders. Each box contains 3 recipes, which makes 12 cocktails in total. So listen, if you are like me and you love cocktails, but you hate having to go to the store to buy like 3 drops of bitters, this is the solution for you. Right now, they're only shipping to US addresses, that's anywhere with the US post office, but you can get $20 off your first order if you go to shakerandspoon.com/brainfood. There's a link in the description below as well. And do remember that going through that link does help support us here at Today I Found Out. And as always, thank you for watching.